eating other people is a big no-no. For the most part, cannibals usually kill their victims, which means they're always charged with murder at the least. Most killer cannibals that get caught spend the rest of their days behind bars, but not always. In fact, today I'm going to tell you the very real story of the cannibal who got away with it.
Court of Horrors.
Warning, this video may ruin your appetite. One evening, a couple in Paris witnessed a small, delicate man hurling 2 suitcases into a river. The couple reported the incident to the police. Inside the suitcases, police found the body of 25-year-old Renée Hartevelt. Upon inspection, it appeared that portions of the body were missing. Thick slices were cut from the buttocks and thighs. The tip of the nose had also been removed. This woman had been eaten. The perpetrator was found just a few days later, but what if I told you he's a free man walking among us? This is the story of Issei Sagawa, the cannibal who got away with it. What led Issei to commit such a heinous crime in the first place? Let's start at the beginning. Issei Sagawa was born prematurely on April 26, 1949, reportedly small enough to fit in his father's palm. Even in adulthood, he only stood at 4'9". Growing up, Issei sought out fairy tales of humans getting eaten. His favorite? Hansel and Gretel. He first experienced cannibalistic desires in elementary school after seeing his classmate's thigh. In a 2011 interview with Vice, Issei reported that he committed bestiality and started to form cannibalistic desires for women as a child. It was at the age of 24, while attending university in Tokyo, that Issei finally decided to act on his desires. Issei spotted a woman walking home and decided to follow her, breaking into her apartment while she slept. He intended to slice off part of her buttocks, but thankfully she woke up and fought him off before he could harm her. He was captured by police shortly after, but did not disclose his true intentions. So he was charged with attempted rape, not attempted cannibalism. These charges were later dropped, however, when Issei's wealthy father paid a large settlement to the victim. Unbeknownst to Daddy, this wouldn't be the last time he'd have to bail his son out. Now, we arrive to the night of the crime. Fast forward. June 11th, 1981, Issei is now 32, living in Paris and pursuing a PhD in literature. It's here at the Paris-Sorbonne University where he meets his victim, his classmate, Renée Hartevelt. He invites Hartevelt to his apartment for dinner under the pretense of translating poetry for a school assignment. This wasn't unusual. They struck up a friendship, and she had even been over for dinner at his apartment before this night. Little did she know that she would be his dinner that night. It's been said that Issei wanted to eat her because she was healthy and beautiful, characteristics he felt he lacked. By eating Renée, Issei believed that he could absorb this energy. In the apartment that night, Renée began reading poetry at a desk with her back to Issei. In that moment, Issei raised the rifle, pulled the trigger, and Issei's sick nightmare had finally come to life. He consumed various parts of Hartvelt's body, eating most of her breasts and face. The parts he didn't eat, he saved in the refrigerator. After he finished, Issei attempted to dump her remains in a river, carrying her dismembered body in 2 suitcases. But Issei was caught in the act and arrested by French police 4 days later. Okay, we have a cannibal in custody with plenty of evidence against him. He even admitted to it. Open and shut case, right? So how does he go free? Let's break it down. It starts with a French court psychiatrist who concluded that Issei was insane, a sexual psychopath, and therefore unfit to stand trial. So he was sent to an asylum for the criminally insane, where he was to be confined indefinitely. Because he was found legally insane, his charges were dropped and his court records were sealed forever, meaning no one could look at them. So he's not in prison, but he is in an asylum. What gives? Remember Issei's rich dad? Yep, it all comes back around. In 1984, Issei's father was able to hire an influential attorney to return his son to Japan. The French public was unhappy, having to support a criminal like Issei. Capitalizing on that, the attorney convinced the French government to extradite him. French authorities sent him back to Japan, where he was immediately committed to a mental institute in Tokyo. What the French government and the public at large didn't know was that Issei was only admitted to the hospital voluntarily. The ambulance and the appearance of being taken into custody was little more than a press stunt, designed to cover for the fact that Issei was now a free man. Daddy and the lawyer staged the whole thing. The psychologist in Tokyo declared him sane and found sexual perversion was his sole motivation for murder. The charges had been dropped in France and the court documents sealed. The French courts did not and would not send the documents over to Japanese authorities. Thus, Japanese authorities could not detain him. Issei checked himself out of the hospital on August 12, 1986, and has ever since remained a free man. So what's his life been like since? Would you guess celebrity? Since the crime, he's appeared on numerous talk shows, wrote a manga about the crime, and even got hired to write restaurant reviews. Today, Issei walks the streets of Tokyo, free to do as he pleases. He's been quoted saying, "I think about wanting to eat someone again before I die." Will he strike again? His release remains controversial. His crime was incredibly morbid, and his victim deserved to live a long, healthy life. He took that from her, and in a cruel twist of fate, never had to pay for his actions. Issei Sagawa, a monster who lives among us. Deadass. I'd love to hear what you think about all this. Tell me in the comments below, and like and subscribe if you want more legal videos. For Law by Mike, this has been
Court of Horrors.